Not working, otherwise I'd just use that. Oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me. You didn't see anything. Okay, we're gonna watch AC Diesel versus Russian Legion. We're gonna watch this whole series and see what we can learn from it. I'm very curious. So let me turn this on. I'm very curious. I did not watch this tournament at all. Not even a little. I don't know what was going on that weekend, but it was a pretty busy weekend for me. So yes, I have not seen any of these games. If you guys have other games or other series you want me to watch, let me know. I'm watching this out of a request for, like I said, a request from Dan and some other people in the stream last time. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I wish Russians would change their jersey. I think that's really cool, but I'd love to see different takes on it. Okay. Double stack on the can on Dorito's side to move up the middle. That's a great move. Move definitely exists. Super solid. Russian Legion loses 1. And now we have a 5-on-4 with them holding the snake. So when we did this layout, oh, it looks like they also have a double can set up, but on the snake side, and are struggling to break out of it. That is a crazy move. And the fact that he made it out of there, if he did, is pretty insane. I'm not sure he did. Yeah, there we go. So Red Legion losing 2 now. It should be, unless there's no one in the corner, it should be a 5 versus 3. Yeah, there is somebody in the corner. So he gets up. I gotta move my cursor. Gets up. Not to the 50 all the way. But I think once he puts it together where this guy is in the Aztec, he probably will. I don't know if that move is a good idea. I don't know if the home to the Dorito one is a good idea. Just because you're probably going to get that cross shot on the can anyway. On the Dorito side, and all you're doing is running in front of that guy. I mean, arguably, you could be running underneath the paint that's coming his way, and that might be a good way to dodge that. Ooh. Losing 1 out the middle, so it should be a 4v3, unless Russians lost to somebody else. This is Diesel versus Red Legion. Can you see that? You can see that. Okay. And one thing that we pointed out that we talked about last time is these channels are huge. It's very, very, very difficult to get out of this position that Smotrov is in. If that's Smotrov, that he's in when you've got at least one person in any of these bunkers right here. Either the Dorito, really up to the can. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 bunkers can hold this cross shot pretty well. And I even think this wedge can see you, just not as big of a gap. So that's not Smotrov. Yes, it is. That is Smotrov. Okay. Smotrov is hard stuck right now, but I really think that the issue right here is he needs to get to the 50. I don't know what the reason is they're not in the 50 yet. Like, he doesn't need to pinch him out from this position. As long as they keep him in that god, nobody can run him down when he's in the 50. So I don't see a reason why he's not there already. Like, he could already be in their Dorito 2, killing the guy in the can. There's literally no reason for him to be here. So it's 2-on-4 from what it sounds like now. So Diesel had 4 players this whole time. Again, there's no reason for you to stop here. The only reason you would stop here is because you don't have any confidence or knowledge that anybody's watching that god guy from moving. But he should know, given how much paint is getting shot, and if he looks to his left, he'll see this guy in the middle's the one who's blasting him. So, like, the point... The speed at which it takes them to close this point is entirely on this Dorito guy, or this snake guy, as far as we can see. There might be somebody on the Doritos that could do it as well, but like this guy, the reason I say it's in his court is because there's nobody stopping him from moving up the snake. Nobody can see him when he does that. Unless he gets some like random crappy drop shot, there's just nothing. So I'm not sure what that was about. Was that Challenger? It's Roberts? Roberts who? I don't know who Roberts is. I think a bit of a mistake. It might have been that he didn't know exactly where the bodies were, and that's totally possible. But to me, kind of no excuse for that. So we'll see how Russians answer back. I would imagine that in the Russians' pit, they're going to take a more aggressive breakout and probably not double stack, but we'll find out. Yeah, no double stacking. More of an aggressive breakout up the middle. 2 people up the middle and the guy into the snake right away. That was a very easy snake move from what it looked like. So, wow, foregoing even the Doritos right now for 2 people in that tower. That's crazy. Diesel does not have anybody in the Doritos either, so it might actually work out for them. Diesel has more in the back line than... Excuse me. Diesel has more in the back line than Russians do. By the way, if you want to know who I think has the best form in paintball, Smotrov. Smotrov has the best form in professional paintball. That guy looks good when he plays, dude. Every single position this man is in, he looks good, and he is a killer. Smotrov is insane, so good. I wish I could play like Smotrov, dude. That guy is absolutely nutty in the snake, or just in any position, really. Ooh, getting chopped up in the middle. Trade out. So it should be 4v4 right now. Oh, 4v3 in favor of Red Legion. Now 4v2. He's going to kill this guy really easily. Oh my gosh. Also, that was unnecessary, Mark Johnson. One thing I don't like about Mark, I think Mark's a really good player. One thing I don't like is Mark is kind of an asshole. He just shoots at people to like be a dick, it feels like. And one thing I actually really respect about Russians is that they don't actually do that. They don't ever engage, or like, yeah, they just don't engage with that like overshooting maliciousness hardly ever. They're very respectable in my opinion as like competitors. And I just find people who like do the little extra when somebody's clearly shot, putting their hand up and they're just blasting them as they're slowly getting up, I think have no, like, I don't have any respect for them. Not that anybody needs my respect. Nobody cares, but anyway. Good job. Good job, Russians. That was a good point. I'm not rooting for anybody in particular. I want this to be a good game. I imagine it will be. I would like to see Diesel win because Diesel's had a kind of a rough couple seasons. They have, in my opinion, underperformed for a while. I feel like they're a team that should be placing top 4. I don't know consistently or not, but they should be playing up in the top 4 regularly. And Russians have kind of had a disappointing season and a half, I think. Haven't they been struggling to get in the top 4 as well? They've been placing outside of the top 4 in the last couple events. I could be wrong, but... Oh, we don't care about this one. Sorry, don't care about Houston Heat. I'm just kidding. Okay, next point. So Russians did have a pretty solid breakout. I think they found... I'll be curious. So... It's 1-1. Russians won with a wide break, so setting somebody to the corner into the snake right away, and then having an aggressive push up the middle, and not going into the Doritos. So I wonder if Diesel's going to try to get into the Doritos and contain them. I assume that's what Diesel's going to do. They're going to try to get into the Doritos and possibly contain them in that sort of like double can, maybe 2 up the middle move, and just pinch them out that way. But if that's the case and Russians were to be aware of that, I think they might just try to match it. I'm not sure. So it looks to be a wide break from Diesel. Yep. So they go to the... So, okay. You've got... Okay, so they have the can guy. They forego this cross shot at the snake and try to have 2 guns shooting the Dorito side. These 2 right here. And then you do have 2 in the snake, which is good. And then they try to get this break off into the Doritos and then contain whatever's going on here. It might be just so they establish the containment before this guy risks his body to move up, which is probably the reason why he's shooting crossfield. I didn't get to see the Russians break, but it looks like they have somebody in the 50 wedge. So that's a really, really good response to that. Because, again, I don't know what's actually going on in the pits, but if we're kind of 2 for 2 so far in what we think, at least Diesel's going to do. And I would say I would analyze these points from the perspective of what the Russians are going to do to counter what Diesel's doing, because Diesel is probably the underdog in this situation. And so they're going to naturally be on their heels trying to figure out how to outplay the Russians, whereas the Russians are just going to kind of force their will onto people. It's generally like how it goes. In a game like Dynasty versus Russian Legion, I would say Dynasty's the one that's usually in control of that, and that Russians have to play around that. Even though the Russians are also very good at like regaining control of the series. So in this case, it seems like they assumed, right, that they were going to break out to the Doritos, and then in response to that, they were going to try to send somebody to the 50 and either contain them or get a quick kill if this guy decided to take this break. Because this would have gone disastrously for Diesel if they knew, or if they thought that they were going to try and keep this Dorito zone out, like that they were just not going to send anybody in the Doritos. If that was the case and this guy decided to play heads up shooting at the can, he could have died very easily by trying to take that bite, thinking he was safe. So fortunately for them, he didn't do that. It looks to be that the only way to really kill this guy or break him out is by going up the middle here to this wedge on the snake side. That's going to be at least the safest way to do that. The crappy part is that Mark Johnson, I assume is who this is almost dedicated to shooting this cross shot. Otherwise, you run the risk of some kind of up the middle play, and that really slows down your snake side. He's switching a lot, which is good because you don't want to stay on this cross shot. It's going to be really bad for you if you do. But unfortunately, Mark Johnson is kind of stuck holding that back can position because he's not safe to move for this threat right here. This guy in the 50 brick looking on the inside, and this guy's suffering the same cross shot, right? So that's the problem with this layout, is that you have a lot of these cross zones that are super deadly, and if you're unfortunate enough to be controlled by one guy in that same zone, then you're going to have a bad time. So that's why I said the only real response here is to send somebody to I said this wedge, but it's actually this wedge right here. This guy would have to probably break up this point by going up to this wedge and then trading out with him making this move, because if he did that, it would make this Dorito side an island, relieving at least a little bit of pressure. Unfortunately, if they don't do that quick enough, Russians are going to be in their face in the 50 Dorito here. But if he makes that play, then the Dorito becomes an island and they make a snake side push. But they have to do that before the Dorito guy gets to the 50, and they're not. So and the snake side is doing a good job. Snake side on the Russians is doing a good job of just holding them. I mean, obviously they're going to try and get in the snake here, which they do, but otherwise they're doing a good job of like really applying. This guy in the 50, this guy in this tower here on the snake is feeling the hurt the most. This guy is the first guy who's probably going to die unless Mark Johnson dies behind him, like trying to save his life or something. Okay, so now they get some positioning. They get some response positioning on the Doritos, which is perfect because this 50 guy was containing the snake, and they put that together, and now they push the Doritos, which is going to relieve pressure on the snake. So they get a trade. Ooh, but a penalty. That's not good, and now the rest of the point's over. It's just a matter of cleanup. That was a really, really good point to watch, because what you really are looking for is to see that kind of tug and pull, or push and pull, whatever, on either side of the field, right? Generally speaking, you can draw a line, to where one side is to the other, and kind of which side they're trying to push. And in this case, they were, trying to contain them in the snake and letting the Dorito do their work. And then when the Dorito got positioned, they were going to start pushing the snake as well, which is hard to coordinate. I mean, I don't really know. I don't have any takes on how to like coordinate that. It's a lot of communication, but it's also a lot of just understanding the correct way to play a point, right? If you know where everybody is, if you know where your opponents are, which these guys are very good at figuring that out, and you know where you're at, you can usually pick together like, okay, it's this guy's job to get up the field because I can't do anything. I've got two people on me, or I'm the guy who needs to make this gunfight happen, and if I win it, then I can break open the point, so on and so forth. But yeah, we had one coming into Wrath. We had stuff happen. We can't play. All right. Breakout, I don't know what that run and gun is, and decided to double stack the can, which I'm not sure. Double stack the can on the snake side. I think my assumption is probably that they're gonna try to sweet spot or bingo, whatever you want to say, this guy in the trying to make that Dorito move, because I think what they thought is if that guy tries to make that move again, we should be able to pick him up, and I think that's what this guy's trying to shoot for. And obviously there's this guy here as well, but he's probably going to move up to this 50 here in a second to hold the snake side. So there he goes. So he's going to look up the middle here. He's probably going to make his move here, and as soon as he makes his move here, he has a lot of options. So we'll see what he ends up doing. He might actually stay. It's much safer to stay back at that wedge than it is to get up to this little juice box. So Berdnikov moving out from the fifth, or from the back line over to the Dorito to help support that. I think Russians have 5 alive. And I think Diesel has 5 alive. We see 4 here. There's a guy in the can, the tower, the back center, and the Dorito. I think there's somebody alive on the snake. It might be 5 on 5. These are facts. What's up, dude? How are you? What's up? Yeah, that's 5 alive. Okay. They have pretty bad positioning on the snake. So if they're not careful, they're going to get pinched. But I don't know if I don't know if Russians have somebody alive in the snake corner or not. If they do, if they don't, then Diesel's fine. They don't have to worry about getting into the snake. But if they do have somebody in the snake corner, Diesel needs to kind of break open this middle setup. And that's the problem with this layout in particular, is if you don't break out wide enough before they get to the middle and hold you, it's going to be really hard. Really, really hard to break. Oh. Did he just get shot in the head? He's good. Oh no, he got hit. He got called. Is that BJ? Okay. Not terrible. I would say that this point is going to come down to this Dorito guy. Yeah, I would imagine that if this Dorito guy is gonna, or if anything's gonna happen this point, it's gonna be coming from the Dorito guy. The problem is, so this is why I was talking about, like, this tug and pull, or push and pull. I keep saying, I want to say tug of war, but this push and pull. So right now, it might seem like they have really good positioning, because this Dorito guy is almost to the 50. The problem is that there are more Russian Legion players in the 50-ish area or the 40-ish area than there are Diesel players. Because if I were to draw a line from one side to the other of where the bodies are, we've got a guy in this Dorito and a guy over in this God. I don't believe there's anybody in the Snake yet, which means that their actual ground that they're holding is really far back. If I were to draw the line from that God all the way to this Dorito, that's pretty far back to, like, the corner of the Dorito side, which gives a lot of freedom if Russians can get into this snake, then the point is probably over, well before this Dorito guy can do anything. Because if I were to draw a line from the guy in the snake to this guy over here in the juice box, that line is much farther up the field than what Diesel has right now. So in my opinion, the only hope that Diesel has to win this point is for either Russians to make a mistake and run into guns, or for this guy to go huge and pluck out like 2 people on this snake side. Because if they can pluck this middle guy out and the can, so that's the first, that's a really, really key kill. If they can kill those guys out on the snake side, it won't free these people to get into the snake necessarily, but it will allow them to wrap on the snake side to then be able to have more angles to shoot at the middle guy. Because right now, this guy, Mark Johnson, I think is who it is super stuck right now. And he's not been very comfortable to wrap on the snake side. And maybe Russians only had 4 there. They might have only had 4. So now that the can guy's gone, if that is the case, which it looks like because this guy's wrapping pretty comfortably, this guy needs to get into the snake right away. And then get all the way down. Go, 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 go. He might not know, but you need to go. So this point is going to Diesel. I'm almost sure of it. Because that 1 kill out of the snake side can opened the point up for them. And it's partly because, like I said, as long as the Dorito guy stays alive. Okay, good job. That was a really, really good point. So we said the only way these guys are gonna win that point is if Russians make a mistake or the Dorito guy goes huge, and that going huge was him killing the snake side can. That was a huge point for that, or huge play for them, which allowed, and fortunately they responded by getting up into the snake and clearing out that side, because the only pressure, the only containment they had was from that can. So they had great positioning on the Doritos, they just needed better positioning in the snake. Okay, I actually would really like to watch the Hurricanes matches. I didn't, but all right, let's watch this breakout. Man, I hate being sick. Sorry for the nasally voice. By the way, if you guys are watching the stream right now, please hit the like button. It does help me out a lot. This video will be up later. I should be up later today as its own standalone. As you guys remember, the streams are going to be a lot. They're going to be probably longer overall. They're probably going to be like 2.5, 3 hours. But we're going to play video games. We're going to talk about paintball while we play video games, and then we're going to do like dedicated segments of paintball. And then those are going to be chopped up into their own videos so that, you guys don't have to watch the streams if you don't want to. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are not interested in video games at all, and that's okay. So, not sure. I guess I didn't really say what I was expecting. I think that point resets the whole series, which it in this case does. It's as if it's 0-0. The only difference is going to be whoever's more gassed or not. Russians aren't ever going to get gassed, so at least not in this stage of the game. So I think it's 0-0. It looks to be that they take a very safe breakout. Getting into that Dorito seemed to be pretty safe. So they do a very standard breakout, but the can guy on the snake dies. And they actually... So one thing that I said when I laid out when I reviewed this layout was that teams were not going to send somebody to this can and the wedge. And in this case, I am very wrong. The Russians have absolutely done that, which makes this a very difficult thing to analyze. Like, as in, if you're on Diesel's side, it's really hard because in all accounts, this is not a great idea, right? Look at this positioning. They have 5 bodies alive. They have a guy in this wedge, a guy in the tower behind him, a guy in this juice box in the Doritos, and then 2 guys playing the can on the snake side. So they're like trying to hard hold the snake while they push the Doritos super aggressive. And really, this guy needs to get out wide to like stop the bleeding on the snake. Because now, look at this double stack. Double stack in the tower and the can. I mean... The way you exploit this is you get somebody into the snake. And right now, the only person that's looking that way that's probably shooting that is this guy in the tower, and then maybe this guy. I don't think he's shooting at snake. So they could, if Diesel were to put that together quickly, they could get somebody in the snake, which would make their positioning on the snake side way, way worse. But they're trying to apply a ton of pressure up the middle, which is probably making them feel pretty uncomfortable. And the other thing that's hard to do is this guy lost his buddy. So he was right next to him, lost his teammate, and probably thinks they're down positionally because of it. But even though it's a 4v5 for Diesel, I actually think Diesel has a chance to break open this point if they can get this guy out to this god and into the snake, and this guy shifts over. If they spread those bodies like that, even though they've got 2 people in the middle, I think they could actually pull this point out. But we'll see. It's still anybody's game at this point. The point has not been decided, in my opinion. But I think Russians have kind of a glaring issue with their setup right now, but Diesel's not doing anything to, like, you know, improve their positioning. Matt the Gym Right. Holy crap, I just read chat. Matt the Gym Rat, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so stream schedule changed. We're streaming Tuesdays, Thursdays during the day and for longer, and playing video games at the same time. What's up, buddy? How are you? It's been a while. We need to play some games, man. I know you've been hard on the grind, but you need to relax and play some games. I'm just kidding. Matt the Gym Right. Okay. So I was not paying attention. It looks like they lost the Dorito player. I believe it's a 2v4, maybe 2v5 at this point. We actually have to go back and see what happened there. So I see that their tower guy gets killed. This move is really solid for them. I think he kills the snake guy, maybe the back center right here. Okay, kills the tower. So they've got a guy in the Dorito and a guy in the back center and a guy in the snake side can. So it's 3v5, if not 3v4. I don't think Diesel shot anybody yet. So yeah, it's a 5-on-3. Matty Marshall just said. So 5-on-3. I assume the Dorito guy's then in this corner over here. It's gonna be pretty hard to dig themselves out of this, and that guy just gets absolutely chopped up. Really, really good for Diesel. 3v4 now. Relieved some of the pressure that they were getting up the middle, but there's still a lot of people in the middle, and Mark cannot get out of this positioning at all. I know, man. I've been working and grinding out videos. Just posted one 30 minutes ago. Oh, nice. Okay, nicely, dude. Do you have? I'm so impressed at your grind, dude. All right, let's see. Improving their positioning in the Doritos. This is good. This is really good. I don't know why Russians don't have anybody in the snake, because Mark does not have a great shot into the snake. And in fact, if they can get somebody in this god, it would be pretty easy for them to. Oh, they do have somebody in the snake. Okay. I was going to say that's a big mistake if they don't have anybody there yet, which they do. So that's good. I would imagine that this point. So this is in this situation. This is what I would call like a ticking time bomb. Whoever wins this point is. So what has to happen is Diesel has to play the point around Berdnikov, or Malloy, I guess we can call him. I believe that's who that is. They have to play the point fast enough such that they counteract what Malloy's about to do with them before he does it, because there's only so much time for Mark to be alive here, right? Before Berdnikov or Malloy just kills him. And so the only hope they have is whoever's on this Dorito side, if they're still alive. I don't know. Oh, did he die? I can't tell. Okay, Mark Johnson got pinched out already, so the point's over. Okay, so whatever Dorito side push they had just got completely halted. I was gonna say their best hope. Oh no, he's still there. Okay. Yeah, so their best hope was for them to blow open the Dorito side before Malloy just ended the point, because the point is in his hands at that point. However fast he can close out the game is however fast they'll win. But if Malloy for whatever reason were to take like a while and give Diesel plenty of time to respond on the Dorito side, that's the only way they lose that point. I do need a break. Maybe after Cup I will take a weekend just a game. You should, dude. You should. Are you getting excited for Cup? How do you guys think you'll do? I'm so curious. All right, I think we actually jumped perfect, just about. Again, I apologize for the voice. All right, let's see how this next point goes. Oh, so I guess what happened? Diesel did a very standard breakout, and Russian Legions gave the snake away in favor of pushing the middle really heavy. So it looks like he's gonna go to the god. No, he's gonna go to the corner, I think. It looks like he's going to the corner, and it looks like he's going up the middle. I don't know. Malloy is really hard to like find out what he's doing. I don't even know if that's Malloy. So let's see. Yeah, he goes up the middle. Oh, and he breaks out just... Okay, that was a good fake. So he's just trying to get out to this can as fast as possible to shoot this guy. Okay, so this... I would say this is a pretty standard breakout for Russians. They actually seem to not opt to go to the Doritos and instead give it to him. I'm not sure why, because they haven't been shooting the Dorito guy, but maybe Diesel has that shot dialed in. Now this... I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure why it is that they keep sending a lot of bodies up the middle like this. I know it's working for them, so maybe that's the only reason, but like this is a really odd strategy to me that they keep doing this. It's like they're trying to suffocate them in the snake and giving up the Doritos to some extent. I mean, obviously this guy's holding the Doritos right now, but I think all that needs to happen for this point to break open is for Diesel to send a guy into this Dorito, or excuse me, into this brick, because he has a lot of options from there. Obviously he's gonna have a hard time making it there because this guy's holding a crossfield shot, but like, I don't know. I just feel like you're having 1 point of failure right now. If this guy gets put in, oh, you know what? That's not true. You've got to double up. So, but these guys are not. So notice this. I believe that's Malloy actually is holding this Dorito 1 from this cross shot, but this guy is not doing anything right now. He's just shooting this Dorito, this little juice box in the Dorito side, and nobody's there. Which is, you know, they've only got a minute to respond or to score a point to at least tie. So that might be the reason that they're just like willing to concede that side. So, okay, the Dorito 1 player dies. It's 5v4 in favor of, 5v3. That's probably the nail in the coffin for this series. It would take a lot of messing up for Russian Legion to lose this. There's the first mess up. 4v3 now. With poor... See, this is the thing. When you lose that one safety net on that Dorito side, this is what you're left with. And especially in the case where they don't break out of the can setup, you've got doubled up cans and then one guy looking crossfield. While this guy can essentially do most of what he wants. Oh, but then he dies. Oh, he traded. Who did he trade with? Oh my gosh, Diesel players walking off the field left and right. Sad point for Diesel. Let's figure out where that point went wrong. I wish we saw more of Diesel's perspective in this one, because it's kind of hard to tell. Very. We have some good energy going in. If you still want to help out and are free, we would love to have your knowledge on our side. They love them towers. They do. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Let's DM about it some more, and we'll talk about what that looks like. I'm not expecting any compensation at all, but I'd just be curious to know, like, if there's any, like, I would love to not have to get an Airbnb by myself, but obviously I understand if I have to, so on and so forth. But, like, if I'm going to help you guys, it'd be cool if I could, like, hang out. But we can talk about that later, so. Am I going to Cup? Yes, dude, I'm going to Cup. Absolutely. What kind of engineer? Let's see. That was a good match. Process engineer. I went to school for material science engineering. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I actually didn't know that. I thought he was making a joke on the word engineer or energy. All right, let's see. I'm really curious because I think the Diesel could have won. I'm just curious to know, or at least tied that series. I'm just curious to know at what point that went wrong for them. I mean, there were several points, but like, there's only so many mistakes you can make. Okay, so it looks like they shoot somebody on the snake side. Going to say this for the 5th time. I have a pro pass with your name on it. Yes. No. So Tonlo, I want that pro pass. I want that pro pass. I don't know what I need to do to get it from you, but I absolutely want that pro pass. So yeah, dude, absolutely. So you can take some good footage and talk to people, etc. Yes, I'm so down. Absolutely. Not yelling. Okay, so they lose the guy in the snake. They're matched essentially on the snake side can. They've got superior positioning on the Doritos. So for now, I would say things are probably equal, because what Russians are trading in positioning, they're trading for pressure. So even though Russians don't have better positioning, they have a lot of pressure being applied right now because of how many guns. Look at this. The cross here, and a gun holding this. I'm actually not sure what shot that is. That seems to be like a bounce shot into this wedge. So this guy, this is not a good move. This is probably the move that got them dead, because he's obviously trying to go below the blind shot right here, because this blind shot's probably only hitting him, you know, hopper to like maybe his shoulders. And if you can go below that, you're good. And all you have to do is essentially snap at this guy to get him in. The issue is that is a huge risk. That is a huge risk to try and break open the point to get into the snake. If he dies here, which I actually don't remember if he did. If he dies here, the point's over in my opinion. Especially because it would be 5v3 at that point. If he gets in, then that's awesome. But I think you had probably a bit more time before you needed to make this move. I think he probably had at least 20 more seconds before he had to make this move. So he doesn't die. That's really good. Really, really important. Middle moves, or home guy moves up to the middle, which is huge. So they're alive in the Doritos. They're about to be alive in the snake with this guy trying to make this move. I've seen people making this move, so I know it's a thing. That is too big of a bite. Way too big of a bite. Way too big of a bite. So in my opinion, if he had stopped at the god and just chilled for a second, I think they would have had a better chance. But I think him dying there completely loses the point for them. If they didn't lose the snake out the break, and that guy tried to make the same move, and like let's say they doubled up the can on the snake side, and that guy tried to make that move and he dies, whatever, you take the risk. But like to take such a huge bite when you know, he only gets him to flinch one time, but you have to earn that second bite, man. You can't make that move against somebody like the Russians. Like, you got to earn that. So to me, I think that's where they lost the point. Even if it was a 4v5, but they had, because right now they have somebody in the middle, they have somebody in the Doritos, which unfortunately Russians do too, but then they'll have somebody in the snake, which the Russians don't, if I'm not mistaken. And in fact, if everything had happened the same as it did, but they had somebody in the snake and this guy dies in the Doritos, well, now it's a 3v4 and they have a really good shot at winning this because their positioning is so bad on the snake. They're still doubled up on the snake side, right? So, like, to me, especially because as soon as you get into the snake, this guy's pressure that's being applied to the snake is completely negated. This guy can't do anything to the snake anymore because this guy can get up to the 50 before he even cares about him. And at that point, this guy's living behind his gun. He has to move unless he just wants to die to the snake 50. So, in my opinion, and then everything else after, like this guy dying in the middle is stupid, but everything else after doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But that was a huge mistake. Huge mistake. To me, that's what lost in the point. So, all right. I'll be there Wednesday. I should be there Wednesday as well. I actually got to buy my tickets like real soon. Yes, please get SVP in the pits, dude. Absolutely. I got to think about what I want to film. I don't know if I want to do like a show. I mean, because the thing is, I'm not like a sports broadcaster guy. I'm not going to go up to people and be like, hey, how did that series go? How do you think it went? Blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's that interesting. I would be much more interested in like longer form conversations, or at least more like, I don't know. I want to say intimate, but that sounds really weird. But like more personal conversations, which is really hard to have with people when they're in the pits, presumably about to play, right? Like that doesn't really work. So I'll have to think about what that'll look like. Not a problem. I want him to meet Vince from Let's Talk Paintball, dude. Absolutely. I think that would be awesome. Vince is a really good dude. Right, I was wondering that. Yes, talk to Vince and get in the booth sometime for casting, dude. I would love to get in the booth for casting. I think that would be so fun. Okay, I think that's probably it for today's stream. We're coming up on how much time have we been streaming for? Actually, almost 2 hours. A little bit shorter. I intend to start these streams a bit earlier, but I will get you in there for sure, dude. Dude, I would love to do the broadcast. I'd love to do the semi-pro broadcast. There was one thing I was gonna say. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I'm forgetting. Thursday. I guess we'll rattle off the things we normally do, and then we'll move on from there. Thursday, stream again sometime during the day. I don't have a set schedule yet, simply because I'm actually doing this during work hours, and I have to like gauge how much work I have to be able to figure out when I can stream. But it's generally after lunchtime, my time. Again, we'll be playing games and talking paintball, so don't be off put by me playing video games. I promise we're still going to be doing paintball content. Merch should be, I'm not sure exactly where merch is as far as the process is concerned. I need to touch base with Daizana. I'll keep reminding people, not that anybody's asked me, but merch usually takes 3 to 4 weeks, in some cases 5 weeks for the turnaround time. So for those of you who ordered your merch, 2 weeks ago or so, a week and a half ago, I don't know how, it was probably 2 weeks ago now. I promise it's being worked on, at least as far as I understand. So try to get an update for you guys there. Thanks again for everybody who's re-upped their membership. That's helped me a lot. I'm gonna get some more videos pumped out because of that, so I appreciate it. I'll be working with some more editors, which will be great. Trying to think of what else. There is another thing that I'm not remembering. Join the Discord, like and subscribe. You guys know the deal. But that's it. So thanks guys so much for watching. If you want to hang out some more, be sure to join the Discord server, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Peace.